In this world, there are places that evoke awe with their majestic beauty. But behind this beauty lie trials that only the bravest souls can endure. One winter day, we embarked on an incredible adventure. Against the backdrop of endless ice, we set out to reach a lighthouse, lost in the depths of the bay. Several kilometers stood between us and this beacon, guiding us through the darkness. But nature doesn't always yield to our plans. A storm arose, and we found ourselves in its embrace. Visibility dropped to zero, and we lost our bearings in this icy labyrinth. It was a challenge that tested our strength, our endurance, and our faith in each other. But even in the darkest moments, when all seems lost, there remains hope for a return to the light. Join us as we relive this remarkable moment in history, when the human spirit confronts the most severe of elements. Architect K. Schinkel erected the building of the domestic church for the imperial family. The church was constructed in the neo-Gothic style and became one of the most unusual structures in the Palace Park ensemble, bearing the equally unusual name, Gothic Chapel. Alexandria became the country estate of Nicholas I and served as a place of family leisure for the entire imperial family, where the children were surrounded by special care. Therefore, various children's facilities were created in Alexandria, such as, for example, a sports ground to the south of the cottage, a children's fortress with a rampart, and a fire tower next to the farmer's palace. Unfortunately, several structures from that time have not survived to our days, including the children's country house, pigeonry, children's farm on the bay shore, and a water mill. Nicholas I's wife, Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna, created a special corner of love in Alexandria for her family, filled with family warmth and coziness. Fronts the most severe of elements. As we ventured through the snow, slowly making our way through Alexandria Park, it felt like a storm was brewing. The wind howled through the trees, creating swirling gusts that seemed intent on knocking us off our feet. But we pressed on. Step by step, we moved towards the bay, where the water lay calm, yet the sea seemed poised for a dance with nature's whims. Despite our apprehension, we continued our journey, knowing that we had several kilometers ahead of us across the ice to reach the lighthouse. The ice groaned beneath our feet, as if reminding us of its fragility and unpredictability. Yet we pressed forward with determination and an epic spirit. Through snowstorms and whirlwinds, we forged ahead, heading towards the beacon of the lighthouse like an oasis in the tumultuous ocean, feeling the spark of adventure mixed with the tremor of anticipation for the unknown. As we moved across the ice, clouds gathered on the horizon and the wind intensified. The ice became uneven under our feet, causing a feeling of anxiety. Stories came to mind about how people got caught in a storm and froze to death. One real-life example comes to mind, the unfortunate expedition of the Endurance under the command of Sir Ernest Shackleton. In 1915, the ship became stuck in ice off the coast of Antarctica, forcing the crew to abandon it. They faced extremely harsh conditions, freezing temperatures and dangerous ice formations. Despite all the difficulties, thanks to Shackleton's leadership and the endurance of the crew, they managed to survive and wait for rescue. These thoughts caused anxiety, but amid the approaching threat there was still a spark of hope. We continued to move forward, hoping that our path would not promise us such trials. As we advanced across the ice, the wind intensified, its howl growing longer and more menacing. The situation became more challenging as we noticed the ice becoming increasingly uneven and fractured, seemingly obstructing our progress. Stories of people tragically perishing in similar situations due to natural disasters came to mind. For instance, there's the account of a group of mountaineers who, caught in a snowstorm in the mountains, lost their bearings and froze to death, unable to find their way to safety. Yet, despite the escalating danger, a glimmer of hope persisted in our hearts. We continued to push forward, relying on our endurance and determination. We believed that we could overcome this trial and reach our destination, despite the formidable challenge that lay ahead. Winter storms on the bay can arise due to various meteorological conditions, such as strong winds, temperature fluctuations, and changes in atmospheric pressure. Ice storms are also possible, where strong winds lift snow and ice, creating hazardous conditions for navigation and sailing. The most powerful winter storm on the bay likely occurred in the winter of 1913, known as the Great Lakes Storm or the White Hurricane. This storm not only affected the bay but also other lakes in North America. It was one of the most powerful storms in North American history and resulted in the loss of over 250 lives and numerous ships. During this period, with winds reaching speeds of up to 145 kilometers per hour, Lake Michigan saw waves rise up to 9 meters. Vessels were destroyed, and people found themselves trapped on open water. This storm became the most destructive and deadly event in the history of Lake Michigan. In a storm, we can witness the might of God through the power of nature, which in all its manifestations is wondrous and majestic. When winds rage with unrestrained force, when waves rise to tremendous heights, we see how great and powerful the Creator of the world truly is. The storm reminds us that we, as humans, are but a small part of this vast creation governed by a higher intelligence. Sudden storms and forces of nature can lead us to a state of humility and understanding of our modest role in this world. Furthermore, in the midst of a storm, we can see the might of God through His mercy and protection. Many of us, facing the most challenging situations, find solace and hope and faith in higher powers. When we feel all is lost, we turn to God for help, and His mercy comes to us, aiding us in overcoming trials and emerging from the storm with strength and confidence. Thus, in a storm, we can witness the might of God both through the power of nature and through His mercy and protection, reminding us of our dependence on higher powers and our faith in their blessings and guidance. Where the coastal area of the sea has various navigational surface or underwater dangers, the passage in the area of which to the shore or anchorage area is associated with certain difficulties, navigation lines are usually installed. Navigation lines accurately indicate to the mariner the safe direction for his vessel to move. The target consists of two signs or towers built strictly in a straight line in the direction that ensures the safe passage of ships between dangers along an artificial channel or natural fairway. Therefore, the signs or towers that make up the alignment are called target. The straight line connecting these signs and indicating the direction of safe navigation is called the target axis or leading line. When the navigator walks along the alignment axis, he sees that the front alignment mark coincides vertically with the rear alignment mark. The front sign covers the back one, leaving only the upper part of the ladder open. With this position of the signs, towers, they are said to be on target. If the ship moves off the alignment axis to the right or left, the navigator immediately notices that the alignment marks diverge. The greater the apparent distance between the marks becomes, the further the vessel moves from the alignment axis. With this position of the signs, towers, they are said to be in solution. The location of underwater and surface hazards varies. The passages between them can be wide or narrow. Therefore, the alignments are set differently. Some alignments are more difficult to come into solution, while others are easier. This feature of the valves is called sensitivity. Unfortunately, we discovered holes in the ice, posing a danger of falling through. Nonetheless, we continued our journey with caution and vigilance, navigating around perilous spots. Eventually, we reached the end point of our route, where we decided to take a short break and have a snack to replenish our energy before heading back. As we rested and enjoyed a brief respite, we discussed our impressions of the journey and our plans for the future. Then, gathering ourselves and mindful of the remaining hazards on the way back, we set out once again, retracing our steps toward the starting point. Our adventure had been fraught with challenges, yet we felt a sense of accomplishment in overcoming obstacles and the joy of camaraderie during this challenging journey. Dear viewers, imagine this. You have the opportunity to embark on an exhilarating journey across icy expanses, but there's a risk of encountering holes in the ice that could be lurking beneath your feet. Would you be willing to take the chance and go on such an adventure? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your opinions matter to us. And if you want to stay updated on new adventures and exciting offers, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We look forward to your participation.
Это демо-версия. И вот началось.
Returning home, we found ourselves in a precarious situation as the thick snow obscured our surroundings. Anxious thoughts crept into our minds as we realized we were lost in this frozen wilderness. The endless fields of snow made each step uncertain, and the cracking sound beneath our feet served as a constant reminder of the looming threat of ice fractures. The danger of plunging into the abyss below became increasingly real, and it became evident that escaping this situation would be challenging. But even in the darkest moments, we did not lose hope. Gathering the last shreds of our strength and relying on mutual support, we resolved to press forward, seeking to find a path to safety. For we knew that even in the darkest corners of the world, there is hope for rescue and a return home.